In the glittering constellation of Hollywood, few stars shine as enigmatically as Johnny Depp. He has long been an actor of paradoxes, poetic yet mysterious, wild yet introspective, adored yet often misunderstood. From the rebellious youth who captured hearts in 21 Jump Street, to the soulful pirate who became a global icon in Pirates of the Caribbean, Depp's life has been as cinematic as the roles he inhabits. Yet behind the kaleidoscope of characters, music, and fame lies a deeply human story, one that revolves around what he himself once described as his impossible love. This love, untamed, transformative, and heartbreaking, did not just influence his private world. It rewired his artistic soul, reshaped his career choices, and redefined the way he saw himself. For Johnny Depp, love has never been simple. It has always been art, rebellion, and destruction, woven together, an eternal paradox that both built and broke the man behind the myth, a life etched in the shadows of love. Johnny Depp was never the kind of star who separated emotion from art. His early interviews from the 1990s revealed a man who felt love in extremes, describing it as a kind of madness that makes you alive. Long before the tabloids, Depp was already known for his passionate relationships with women who matched his intensity. From Winona Ryder to Kate Moss, and later Vanessa Paradis, each romance carried the weight of poetry and pain. But it was one particular love, whispered about by those close to him, that would become the great impossible love of his life, one that would alter everything he believed about love. For himself, though Depp has never publicly named this person, insiders, friends, and even snippets from his letters suggest that it was a connection he once described as untouchable, something real but not meant for this world. Whether it was an unfulfilled relationship or a love that could not survive the pressures of fame, it haunted him for decades. The artist torn between two worlds. To understand the magnitude of this impossible love, one must understand Johnny Depp's relationship with art. For Depp, acting was never just performance, it was exorcism. He once said, "Every role is an attempt to kill something inside me, or at least understand it." In the early 2000s, during his European years with Vanessa Paradis, Depp seemed at peace. Living in France, raising his children, and making art in seclusion, he had escaped the Hollywood chaos. Yet beneath that calm was a restlessness, a lingering ghost of a love that couldn't be lived openly or honestly. Friends recall how, during this period, he often spoke in fragments of what-ifs and the road not taken. One longtime collaborator from the set of Finding Neverland said, "Johnny carried this melancholy that wasn't just about fame or work. It was personal, deep. You could feel that he'd left something unfinished." This impossible love, they said, was not about losing someone. It was about never truly being able to have them in the first place. Love as creation and destruction in art, love can be both muse and poison. For Johnny Depp, it became both. After the early 2010s, as his life entered turbulence, the world saw an actor unraveling under public scrutiny. Yet those close to him describe a man still in search of that impossible connection, still writing, painting, and composing songs that echoed its memory. Music became his confessional. With Hollywood Vampires, the rock supergroup he co-founded, Depp poured himself into songwriting that was often laced with longing and regret. Tracks like The Boogeyman Surprise and Who's Laughing Now reveal a man grappling with ghosts, not just of fame or betrayal, but of lost love. Depp's bandmate once said, "He writes like a man who's trying to talk to someone who isn't there anymore." That someone, fans have long speculated, could be the subject of his lifelong impossible love, a figure who inspired both his deepest vulnerability and his greatest resilience. The Letters That Whisper the Truth in 2023. During a retrospective art exhibit in London, showcasing Depp's paintings and handwritten notes, a small collection of personal letters caught public attention. Written in Depp's unmistakable script, they were filled with poetic fragments. "You were the calm in my storm, the ghost in every frame I ever painted. I lost you before I ever had you. Some loves aren't meant to be lived, only remembered endlessly." Though Depp never confirmed whom the letters were for, the emotions were unmistakable. Critics called them a map of heartbreak, while one art journalist wrote, "You can see in every brushstroke that this man has loved and lost something unrepeatable." These letters, fragile and raw, gave the public a rare glimpse into Depp's emotional world, a side often overshadowed by his cinematic alter egos. They revealed an artist still carrying the echo of his impossible love, long after the world had moved on. How impossible love became his compass for most people. Love ends in closure. For Johnny Depp, it became a compass that guided his choices. His filmography in the last 2 decades mirrors a man searching for fragments of himself. In every role, from the haunted writer in Secret Window to the wounded dreamer in Minamata 2020, where he portrayed real-life photojournalist W. Eugene Smith, Depp seemed to pour decades of pain into the performance. Critics noted that his portrayal had a quiet devastation, the kind that comes from a lifetime of feeling too deeply. Depp later said in an interview, "Art and love are the same. You give everything and sometimes get nothing back, but it's still worth it." That statement, honest and weary, may be the truest reflection of his worldview. The impossible love that once broke him also became the fire that sustained his art. Without it, he might never have reached such emotional depth as an artist, the price of feeling. Too much, yet being a man of such emotional magnitude comes at a cost. Depp has often said that he is a man built from fragments. Those who have worked with him describe how he immerses himself in every emotion, joy, grief, love, and despair, until it consumes him. One director recalled that during the filming of Public Enemies, Depp would sometimes stay in character long after the cameras stopped rolling. He wasn't just acting, the director said. He was remembering. That memory of lost love, of regret, of what could have been, became the silent partner in every creative endeavor he undertook. While the tabloids focused on scandals and lawsuits, the artist within was quietly processing something far older and far more human. The sorrow of a heart that once beat too hard for someone he could never truly have. Redemption. Through art and isolation by 2024, after years of exile from the Hollywood mainstream, Johnny Depp's public image began to shift. He returned not as the blockbuster star, but as an artist reclaiming his narrative. In his European art exhibitions and music tours, he appeared more grounded, more reflective. Observers noticed that his work had taken on a distinctly romantic melancholy. Portraits of faceless figures reaching for one another, hands that almost touch but never meet. In interviews, he spoke of peace through solitude, and how love doesn't end just because it's impossible. The purest love, he said in one interview, is the one that teaches you something even if it destroys you. It leaves you better if you let it. These words resonated deeply with fans who saw in Depp's journey a kind of rebirth, not through forgetting, but through acceptance. He had turned pain into art, heartbreak into healing, and loss into legacy. The woman behind the myth, although Depp has never named his impossible love, many close to him believe she was someone from his past, a woman outside the entertainment world, someone who represented simplicity and truth in a life defined by excess. According to friends, their connection was real but unsustainable. Fame, distance, and timing conspired against them. She wasn't part of Hollywood, one confidant revealed. She didn't want the lights, the cameras, or the noise. And Johnny, as much as he wanted peace, couldn't escape who he was. A man forever in the public eye. Their love, they say, became impossible, not because it lacked feeling, but because it couldn't survive the machinery of fame. In many ways, it mirrored the tragic beauty of the characters Depp often played. Men torn between worlds, yearning for something pure in a world that doesn't allow it. Reflections from a man who loved too deeply. In his quieter moments, Depp has often spoken of gratitude. Despite everything, the losses, the betrayals, the heartbreak, he remains a man who believes in love. Love is never wasted, he said in a 2025 interview. Even if it breaks you, it gives you pieces to rebuild yourself with. That quote, widely shared on social media, felt like a summation of his entire journey. From the wild 1990s heartthrob to the mature artist reflecting on the nature of emotion, Johnny Depp's evolution has been less about fame and more about survival. He has lived, loved, and lost in ways few can comprehend, and somehow, he has turned every scar into art. Those who attended his recent exhibitions noted that every painting and every melody seems to tell the same story, of an impossible love that never truly left him. It is not a tragedy anymore, but a living part of who he is. The love that once broke him now gives his art its pulse. Legacy of an impossible love. If there is one thing that defines Johnny Depp's legacy today, it is authenticity. He remains one of the few artists in Hollywood who have never chased trends or diluted their essence for commercial gain. His journey has been messy, imperfect, and painfully human. But that is precisely what makes it real. The impossible love that once shattered him ultimately made him more complete. It stripped away illusion and forced him to confront himself. The man behind the makeup. Behind the characters, behind the myth. It taught him, and the world watching, that love doesn't have to be fulfilled to be eternal. Sometimes the most profound connections are the ones that remain unfinished, lingering in the air like music that never resolves. The final chapter, Peace Through Memories of 2025. Johnny Depp has embraced a quieter rhythm of life. He spends much of his time painting, recording music, and traveling between England and France. Those close to him describe him as content, though still contemplative. He has not abandoned the memory of his impossible love. Rather, he has woven it into his existence. "You can't forget something that built you," he once said. "You just learn to live beside it." In many ways, that sentiment captures the essence of his transformation. The young rebel who once sought chaos found wisdom in heartbreak. The man who once believed in wild, impossible love now finds beauty in acceptance. His story is not about loss, but evolution. Proof that love, even when unattainable, can lead us to our truest selves. Conclusion. The man, the myth. The heart Johnny Depp's impossible love may forever remain a mystery. A story told in fragments of interviews, songs and art, but its impact is undeniable. It reshaped a man who was already larger than life and turned him into something rarer. An artist who feels deeply enough to turn heartbreak into beauty. In an age of superficial fame, Depp stands as a reminder that real love, even when it cannot be lived, is what gives meaning to existence. His journey is proof that the heart, no matter how scarred, remains the most honest compass we have. As one critic recently wrote, Johnny Depp doesn't just act or perform. He remembers. Every word, every note, every brushstroke is a love letter to what he lost and to the life it gave him. To be friends, subscribe the channel. And I wish you good luck. You should take care of yourself.